to our next speaker, and this is really an opportunity for me to indulge in one of the staples of my childhood, because I'm just about to introduce Timmy Mallett. Timmy is an artist and an author, but probably best known for his vibrant 1980s children TV shows, Wide Awake Club and Whack-A-Day. Is there anybody here from the North or grew up in the UK? Yeah, you see, everybody else here only had two stations, Go to Bed Early 1 and Go to Bed Early 2, as we called them. But we had all of the UK, so we got to sit every week with Timmy Mallett, and it's really extraordinary. It was such a bright light, actually, when we were growing up as children during the Troubles to tune in every Saturday to this programme. But in more recent years, Timmy Mallett has blazed a trail circumnavigating British, Irish and European coastlines alike by himself on a bike. And these long-distance cycling journeys have turned into standalone nostalgia and tourism blockbusters in their own right. He has recently cycled Ireland's coastline, and his experience has been followed by tens of thousands of people online. So, ladies and gentlemen, what does Ireland's tourism and hospitality look like from the saddle of a bike? Let's hear, or is that see, from the man himself.
2, 3, 4, tell the people what you want. It wasn't
whoa, hang on. Just a minute. I'll be there in a second. There must be a shorter way to get there. Oh, hello. Get out of the way. You're in the way. Oh, no. Yeah, that's it. I'll get there. That's it. Lovely. Hang on. I thought... No, there isn't. At the other end. Lovely. I'll be there in a second. Right, okay. Good. Just a minute. I'll be there. I'll be there. Yep. Yep. Give me a second, Dearbhail. I'll be there. Yep. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Thanks,
Timmy Mallett, thank you.
That was fun.
It was indeed. I don't know whether the insurance for the event covered that, but it all went well, so welcome.
I've got something for you, Dearbhail. You mentioned the Wide Awake Club and Whack-A-Day. Do you think I should? Yeah. Of course! Brilliant. Give her a big cheer. She's done a great job today.
You mustn't pause, you mustn't hesitate, or otherwise you go, boop. There we go. If you know, you know. If you know. Timmy, you're very, very welcome.
Oh, it's lovely to be here.
You were obviously a big sensation for us when we were younger, but you've created an entire new generation of fans through your madness. Were you aware when we were younger of the impact that your programmes had on us?
I was yesterday when I came into the airport and I was going through passport control, and the bloke looks at my passport and he started singing Itsy Bitsy. Ah!
You see, they were part of it. Did a career in children's television, because you've done so much, but did that sort of prepare you for the career that you ultimately devised and developed?
I don't think careers are linear. I think they expand and they evolve with the different things that you're interested in. So I've always been passionate about storytelling and about curiosity, art, history. Stories are the things that drive us, and that's what I've found on my cycling, my cycle touring, which gets me to some wonderful places, including this glorious Emerald Isle.
And maybe give people an insight as to why you started this particular adventure. You were actually inspired by the very famous English artist, J.M. Turner.
Yes, that's right. Turner was a fabulous watercolour artist, and he painted all over the islands of Britain and Ireland. And you can see his locations in the sketches, and he would paint and draw them here, not there. It's that precise. Sometimes, as you can see in my paintings, it's rainy rather, but that seems to add to it.
Yeah. You started your adventure on this island in Belfast. What were your first impressions?
Oh, it's great. Belfast, what a glorious, wonderful city. And around Northern Ireland, experiencing things like the bowl fadder, that great sport that would only happen in Ireland,
The
where
row
you get a
bowls.
million people to throw balls up the lane as far as they can, and it just looks so utterly dangerous and great fun.
And of course, you started, including in my part of the world, God's country, between the Mournes and the Cooley Peninsula. But just the fact that the infrastructure is better for you now as a cyclist, you were able to get on the greenways and get out and about.
Look, the infrastructure here is amazing. It's just startling, and I am thrilled by it. I'm also thrilled by the welcome and the insistence on people. The reason I came to Ireland to do this great adventure,
Because you had done the UK before.
I started by cycling the Camino de Santiago, which is well known to all of us. It's that great pilgrimage route that leads from wherever you live in Europe across northern Spain to Santiago de Compostela. And I cycled England, France, and Spain and back again. And I've written about it in my memoirs, which talk about...
Utterly brilliant.
Utterly brilliant, and I'll be signing those afterwards at
Excellent.
lunchtime. But one of the things I thought was, hang on a second, what is there to see in my home island? So I did a circumnavigation of Britain and looked at the map and thought I've missed a bit of the UK out, and that's Northern Ireland. So I did that circumference of that lovely province, which is much bigger than you realise, 750 miles, and to places like South Armagh, which might not be the first place you'd go to visit, where the welcome is gorgeous. And that led on to, just a moment, there's the rest of Ireland to see.
Yeah, so that was, and you probably didn't have the sat nav in your ear going a million times. Caution, border crossing, which you have a lot in that part of
The border
world.
crossing is brilliant. You know, it's almost entirely invisible. But I found near Strabane in Clady the lady whose house is in the UK and her garden is in the Republic.
Yeah.
And I said, how does that work? She said, it's very good for smuggling. Brilliant. And then I had Donegal reach out, and I've got some lovely friends here from Donegal today. Who's from Donegal?
Yes, there they are.
Good, lovely. And they said, don't forget the forgotten county. And I had a little bit of an opportunity to do those lovely big peninsulas of Donegal. And that's where I picked up my Hannah hat. Yeah. I thought you'd like that. And,
do you have a plan? Like, I mean, do you sit down, and I know your lovely wife Linda is here today, and I would love to interview her and go, what is going through your head when he goes off on these adventures? Because do you plan them in any great extent? Like, do you have a kind of a goal, I'm going to do whatever amount of kilometres a day, or do you even get to reach that goal because everybody's chatting to you?
look, planning is down to plan the least that you can and leave yourself open for those serendipity moments where you meet people along the way. I actually want to thank somebody here today because there's a fella who insisted that I'd cycled the Wild Atlantic Way, and he's here today.
Oh.
And he phoned me up. I don't know how he got my number, but he phoned me 3 times last year, and he said, you have to cycle the Wild Atlantic Way. He said, I'm from Sligo. Sligo? Where's that?
Yeah.
He said, you can go through it in 10 minutes, but don't. And he said, and it's really, really gorgeous. You will love it. So Aidan McCormack, who's here today, is the man to thank for getting me to do the Wild Atlantic Way.
So a big part of it is your videos must often go viral and are just gold dust in terms of sharing this island with everybody else. What role, do the hotels or the other accommodation that you go to sort of play in? Is it sort of like a whisper network? Is somebody saying, go there next, or...?
Ireland is particularly good at the Whisper Network, actually, Dearbhail. And the hotels, the tourism is made up of the Fulcher Island, the big brands, the Wild Atlantic Way Islands, Ancient East, and the Hidden Heartlands, the boggy bit in the middle that nobody sees. And then you've got the counties, and the counties are precious and passionate about where they live, and I love that. And then you have the hoteliers who, the thing about Irish hotels, and I've seen this in every single hotel I've stayed in, I get a handwritten message of welcome. Now, that's cheap to give and expensive to receive, but it's also really unique. You don't get that in hotels anywhere else in the world. You do in Ireland, and that's because there's a welcome, there's an embrace that is just so utterly gorgeous.
So you're celebrating your little gin that you had left out in your
Little
sweets
gin.
last night.
I know. And did you see the wee video I did last night?
I did see the wee video you
Anybody
did
else
last
see
night.
that? When the pillow spray, it went all over the camera.
You were very, very impressed by your toilet in your suite before you even got into the suite.
Well, fancy having a spare loo. I think it's brilliant to have that. Wow.
But it has been great for tourism. And I suppose, look, you have a very, very unique insight, and you also have huge reach as well in terms of your audiences. What do you think that we do get right in tourism on the island?
I am so impressed with the tourism infrastructure here in Ireland. It is world class. I was surprised at something the minister said today when he was bigging up Airbnb. Maybe I got that wrong, because I thought, hang on a second, that's a little contentious, because it doesn't mean that the money stays within the locality. And actually, I'm not sure I want to punch in a keypad and find the key and make my way around it. I like that warm welcome, that personal touch that says, you're welcome here. There's a warmth, an embrace, and something that's utterly genuine here. And I just love it.
There's another perspective you get as an artist, because it's not just kind of going through somewhere, grabbing the selfie, moving on. I don't know, we've got some of your
Well, you're
beautiful
seeing
artwork.
some of the paintings going through now. You know, there's Mizzen Head, and with the Fastnet rock in the distance there. Those, by the way, is the car park for tractors in Skull. Wow, that's where tractors go on holiday. They go to Skull. I think it's really special. But I stop at every opportunity, because I work on the assumption that this is the one and only time I'm going to come through here. So paint the picture, be in the moment. You know that road sign? Go mile. Slow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, if ever there was a true word, whenever I see that, I think, hang on, there's a little message to me here. Don't be in a hurry. Now, there's a difference between don't be in a hurry and slow tourism. You know, I'll give you an example. At County Clare, Loop Head Peninsula, there's a lovely lighthouse at the end of it. It's a long way to get down there past those beautiful cliffs at Kilkee. But they're wanting to build a visitor centre, an attraction, and a car park that's at the other end of County Clare on the basis that they think you're going to walk to the... Now, I don't think that's right, because not every day is a warm and gorgeous day. Sometimes you get a little bit of a breeze. And the occasional drop of moisture.
The occasion.
And in that case, actually, I want to have the car park or the bike park right next to the attraction and spend the time in the attraction. That's what I want to do.
You're looking a bit angelic there. Where is there a little bit of
These tree ferns are brilliant. County Kerry and the Gleenish island at Glen Gareth.
Yeah.
Wow, isn't that brilliant? I love that. Where am I there? You know where I'm Youghal. And that's on the Waterford Greenway. These greenways, Dearbhail.
Yes.
Oh my God, they are world class and brilliant for cyclists. You know, in Britain we have cycle paths, but they're produced by a charity, and they're about that wide, and they've got potholes. But here, the idea is to make the cyclists feel welcome, and I adore that.
How many paintings have you done of Ireland?
How many what?
How many paintings? How many have you done of Ireland?
I paint every day. I mean, going to Cove is, standing there next to the Titanic Museum, or yeah, I love the sporting grounds. I went to the hurling at Parc y Cuivre. Oh, I love that. That's brilliant. Oh yeah, occasionally you get a handshake from somebody along the way. It's good.
Well, you actually managed to get a handshake with the Taoiseach. Plenty of other people trying to chase him. How did you get a session with him?
I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. He said, I'm the press officer for the Taoiseach. I'm phoning to arrange a photo session. Where are you? I said, oh, I'm out west somewhere, I think County Mayo. And he said, well, he's in Paris saving Ukraine at the moment, so maybe when you get to Cork, we'll have a session. And I thought, 2 minutes, a little photo. But oh no, he wanted to see the bike and he wanted to see the paintings and talk about my experience in Ireland and talk about my wee brother, my brother with language and learning difficulties, Martin, who never let Down syndrome define him. And he's been the inspiration for my bike rides, for living in the moment, be in the here and now. He would say, you and me, I'm happy. And there's a lovely truth in that, isn't there? And then the Taoiseachs, oh, look at this happy out. I mean, oh my goodness me. They do hundreds of coffees every day, and they're distributed by people with Downs. Now, the day will come when that's not a news story, when it's just normal. But right now, it's important. And the Taoiseach was saying, we've got somebody with Downs on our national executive. And I'm thinking, that is really impressive. Which other national government would listen to their people with, I was going to say disabilities, listen to people who have another story in such a way.
Have a different perspective.
I think there's something profoundly moving here.
There's also something very, very profoundly moving about, every tourism experiences can be a journey of discovery, not just about the place, but also about yourself. And anyone who knows me knows I'm obsessed with lighthouses, and I'm currently doing the Great Lighthouses Tour, waiting to get my certificate. But one of the places you visited was Blacksod Lighthouse, which we associate with, the Allies, D-Day, the late Maureen Sullivan, who just died in 2023, I think, and her grandson continues that family tradition, telling of her amazing story, the bariatric warnings, sending them back to the UK. But when you went there, or you discovered your own very, very personal link to that.
I didn't know I had a personal connection to Ireland, but I do, and it was at Blacksod Lighthouse, and Maureen Sweeney was the lighthouse keeper's wife who in 1944 was sending in the weather forecasts to Supreme Headquarters, and she got a phone call from a squeaky-voiced English lady to check her measurements, and that lady rang 3 times, the squeaky-voiced English lady, and that was my mum. She was seconded to Supreme Headquarters in the spring of 1944. And she was there when Churchill made his decision, not Churchill, Eisenhower, and he goes around the room to all the generals, what do you think, what do you think?
What do you think?
Nobody wanted to commit, and then there's this weather forecast from Maureen Sweeney that says, we may have a window of opportunity for about 12 hours. And she said, I heard history that day. And all I can think of is those 2 ladies doing their little bit in a big, big story of the world. There's something about this conference here today that I love. The title is Resilience in an Uncertain World. And the world is supposed to be uncertain. It's supposed to be full of change. Nothing is the same each and every day. And our job is to go through each day with an open mind and an open heart, willing to embrace the other opinion, hear what they are, and see if we can make the world a better place by the end of today than it was at the beginning.
Since I was younger, today you still continue to inspire and motivate people, and, Mark Little has spoken to it and others have, sometimes if you look at the grim, geopolitics, it is very, very grim. And you do kind of feel that you don't have a sense of agency or it's way over there or how can I influence it? But you've always had, I think, a relentless positivity. And I'm just wondering, where does that come from?
I think curiosity and also appreciating the things that we have. Appreciate the beauty around us, appreciate our beautiful island, our home. It's there in the paintings and in my stories that it really does inspire and thrill me the way people come to Ireland and are welcomed here, there's a kindness and a generosity which is part of the DNA of Ireland. What kindness, yeah, and it's don't knock it. It's really lovely.
Talk me through maybe some of the places that you've been really, really struck by on the island. Have you had any mad experiences? Have you got into trouble at all?
Yeah. Yeah, the weather isn't always as great as it is, but I have loved the way that the different places I've been to have said, can we come for a bike ride? Or they've passed me on to the next hotel. So, for instance, Aisling at Arnold's in Dunfanaghy in Donegal said, you'll go to Tory Island, and then you'll go to Onchurch, and then you'll come down to Bundoran, and Marion there says, come and have a swim in the morning. What, in the sea? She said, yeah, we're the Aqua Angels. We're ladies of a certain age, and we'll go in the sea, and we'll take you in the sea to me. So I went in the sea with them, and she started singing that lovely song about, beautiful, beautiful Bundoran, the pride of Donegal. Wow. Okay, there's Delphi Lodge. Ronnie's here from Delphi Lodge today, and Delphi Lodge said, you're going to love this. Tomorrow you're going on to Rossleague Manor, where Mark's going to open up for Easter. And Mark wants to go cycling with you. And there he was. He was ready in his wet weather gear to go pedalling around the edge of Clifton in the lashing rain. Good on him. Yeah. Wonderful.
And have you a favourite place yet? Is there somewhere that has really sort of caught you that you would come back to again?
I'll come back to all of it. I'm cautious about saying a favourite place, because usually a favourite place...
You were meant to say Newry there. That was Newry. That was your prompt.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Although I think you had an interesting time there, which we won't go into. But anyway, so you don't have any particular favourite?
No, I think it's... You've got to be cautious with that, because that usually means there's somewhere that didn't quite make it. But places do. Everywhere's got something special. And I find that really reassuring, that all you have to do is to look for it, and it will be apparent, and you'll be surprised. It's lovely.
What's the plan for the circumnavigation series?
Well, I think the most important thing is to do it. And I'm sharing the adventures on my socials, and I'm delighted with the way that the algorithms send it round to everybody. Because these days we don't watch as much TV on the big screen at the end of the room. Sadly, in all of my 3 months coming around Ireland in these nice hotels, I never turn the telly on once, because you get it all here, don't you, on your socials. This is where you get your news and your info. And the algorithms say, here's a story, you may like it. And that brings things in. People will say, would you like to go coast-steering on Connemara? Yes, sure. I would, actually. I hadn't thought of that before. Or Paddy at Slieve League says, come on, I'll take you out on the boat and we'll go up and have a look at the great view. And I've been invited to a wedding in New Zealand in November. And I was thinking, New Zealand, hey, that's exotic. That'd be great. Now, what they've got in New Zealand, they've got great landscapes. I've just seen those in Ireland. They've got wonderful seals and wildlife. Well, I've seen the basking sharks, and I've swum with seals, and I've been with the dolphins, yeah. And they've got great food. They've got great food in Ireland. Your best seafood chowder on the planet. But it's a wedding. So Mrs. Mallett said, we should go. So we're going to New Zealand. But I have to say, the little part of me will be doing a comparison and saying it's good, but it's not quite Ireland, is it?
So what do you think, you mentioned Airbnb earlier, what is the challenge or the opportunity for tourism? It was really interesting listening to Mark Little talk about how, this generation who've, they're digital natives, they've grown up in that world, they're using that tech faster, but actually what they're craving, there's a huge nostalgia element. See me. Do I get to keep him, by the way?
Wait and see.
I want to keep him. See how that craving for nostalgia or for experiences Like that, that seems, people want, or maybe it's because we're so much in the digital world, we want good experiences. That's what people are seeking out.
I'm not sure it has to be a good experience. It has to be an experience. I think experiencing it, and Ireland has that in abundance, because when it rains and it's wild and windy, and if you go out with the right gear on, it can still be an impressive and inspirational day, can't it?
Yeah, of course.
Well, can it?
Of course.
So
Yeah.
I think it's make sure you experience it. And if you've got something that you think is great to offer, do tell people. The Connemara Greenway. Yeah. Oh, my goodness me. Where's Paula? Paula Lydon's here from Connemara.
Over here.
There you are, Paula. That was lovely, that ride. I love it. Paula's partner, by the way, owns 3 of the 12 bends of Connemara. Give him a round of applause. I think that's brilliant.
I think I actually saw that video. You were just like going, he owns 3 of them.
3 of the bends. Now, there are those great mountains, aren't there? There's Errigal, there's Ben Bulben, there's the 12 bends of Connemara, there's the Skelligs, there's the Wicklow Mountains, there's a lovely range of hills just behind the Waterford Greenway, and then you come up to Slieve Donard, and you see what I mean? And we always wax lyrical about our home, what we've got at home, but we don't always go and look at it. Well, do, because it's worth it.
Yeah, we're very, very proud of Slieve Donard, and of course we're going to be getting that in time, that fabulous bridge that is going to connect the Cooley Peninsula with the Mournes, which is just, should I say it again, God's country? But before I let you go, what advice would you have for, this is probably one of the biggest business conferences of the year in the Irish business calendar, and obviously, you've heard all the speeches before, and about the economy, VAT, everything. What is your advice for that? Just speaking to the theme, that resilience in uncertain times. You're in a totally different world, but you've immersed yourself in this world.
Yeah, I have, and I love it. I'm going to come back again. I think I ought to, because if I look at the lovely map of Ireland, by the way, there is a map, there's a fella in Newry who said, I can build you a map showing all the different places around the island you've been to. Sorry, I'm seeing that photo. Doolin Ferry. And he's made this map which shows the exact spot where the paintings are and the videos. And there's about 1,000 different clips to have a look at. You'll be down a rabbit warren of that. Yeah. It's at Mapanori, Timmy Mallett. Mapanori, Timmy Mallett, and you'll have a little look at it. What was the question again?
Can't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Can't remember. How long does it take you to do each painting? Each painting takes about 50 years. That's how long I've been... do you sell them?
Of course I do, yeah. So afterwards, I'll do the signing of the book, Utterly Brilliant, My Life's Journey, and there's some flyers showing the paintings, and there's a website, which has got a lovely name, you'll love this, Mallett's Palette, which shows my art, and... I carry watercolours on the cycle ride. Can I just tell you about this view there, the Brandon Back Beach? This is important in my life because my first visit to Ireland in 1990 during Wackaday, I came on a Slattery's horse-drawn caravan through Dingle Peninsula. And I took a phone call on an early mobile in 1990, and it was saying, we'd like to make a record, and this is Andrew Lloyd Webber, and he says, I'd like you to sing it, Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. You think, one phone call that I took changed my life, and it happened in Ireland at this beach.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I know it's here is because I recognize that mountain range, because I have a way of photographing it in my head and making sure I can remember every bend in the road. So this is Brandon Back Beach on the Dingle Peninsula. And I got the watercolours out there. I didn't know it was called Brandon Back Beach until I got there and said, that's where the phone call happened. That's where I stood. That's where Itsy Bitsy changed my life. And every day, in an uncertain world, something can happen that could change your life. So I've painted that to remind myself of being in the moment. Make sure you concentrate on the here and now of living.
I don't think our parents appreciated the subtlety of that when we were going around singing that song at nauseam. But it'll be good to go back and say that there was
I'm going to show you the dance routine afterwards, Dearbhail, and we'll have a little go at doing itsy bitsy together.
Well,
in fact, we could get the whole lot.
We could get the whole lot of you doing it. But for now, Timmy Mallett, it is so gorgeous that you've fallen in love with this island, because it's let us fall in love with you all over again.
Can I just say what I'd like to do next year?
Yes, you can.
I'd like to come back.
And?
I'd like to come back and do some of the hidden heartlands.
Oh, there we go. Excellent.
There's the longest river in these islands, which is the Shannon, and it starts way up in the north, and it goes through, well, let's see if I miss any out. It goes through Fermanagh, Cavan, Leitrim, Roscommon, the one next to it. Is that Westmeath? Limerick, Tipperary.
Longford.
Longford,
Don't forget Longford.
We don't care about Longford, do we? Then it comes down to Clare and Tipperary and Kerry and out to the sea. So if you don't mind, I'll do that. And if you come and give me your card, then we'll have a little exchange of ideas. And if there's places you want me to visit, do a little painting or a video like this one of the Ben Bulben. That beautiful. Is down to Aidan McCormack phoning me, insisting I come. So I'm just going to tell you now, if you tell me, I'll come. Is that okay?
I think that is perfectly okay. And it has been wonderful chatting to you, Timmy Mallett.
Come on, give us a kiss.
Really, really wonderful. Thank you so, so much. There we go. A great ambassador for the island. Thank you very, very much, Timmy Mallett. And you will be, I think, at 1:45?
Yeah, I'll be signing copies of that. Yeah.
Utterly brilliant. So listen, next to lunch, and lunch is very kindly sponsored by the good people of Kilkenny Tourism, and you'll get to enjoy lovely, lovely, tasty, locally sourced dishes. Staff are outside of the room to direct you back to the main hotel. So enjoy your lunch, but please be back at 2 p.m. sharp and get your book signed before then. Thank you.